On June 6th, 1984, 12-year-old Greenville native Sherry Lynn Marler went into town with her stepfather to run errands. While he went to the bank to sign some papers, he gave her $1 to buy a soda from a vending machine and told her to meet him back at his truck in 15 minutes. She hasn't been seen since. Hello and welcome to Twisted Fables, where shadows hold secrets and every tale is shrouded in mystery. I'm V, your voice in the darkness, your guide to the chilling abyss of unsolved mysteries, true crime, and bone-chilling stories. If you dare to explore the darkest corners of human history, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. You never know what twisted fable we'll uncover next. But remember, in the realm of shadows, your thoughts matter. Share your insights and theories in the comments below, and let's unravel these enigmas together. As the clock strikes midnight, the journey begins. Grab your flashlight, lock the doors, and prepare to descend into the abyss. Without further delay, let's venture into the world of twisted fables. And remember, the line between the virtual and the real is thinner than you might think. In this series, we'll dive into well-known, unsolved cases from all over the United States. So let's get started with the very first episode of Forgotten Shadows, America's Cold Case Files. The case of Sherry Lynn Marler. Today, we're going on a journey back in time to explore the tragic disappearance of Sherry Lynn Marler, a mystery that has left her family and her community searching for answers for nearly 4 decades. Our story begins in Greenville, Alabama, on June 6th, 1984. The morning was like any other. Betty Marler woke in the wee hours and began her day, getting ready for a 7 a.m. shift at Waffle House. When she was leaving, Sherry was still asleep on the couch. Now, once Sherry woke up, she decided that she would accompany her stepfather, Raymond Stringfellow, into downtown Greenville so that he could run some errands. This was around 9 in the morning. Now, Raymond had to handle some business at the bank. He needed to sign some paperwork for a loan, and afterwards he would need to fix a combine. Once they made it into town, Ray had given Sherry $1 so that she could go and get a soda from a vending machine. He told Sherry to meet him back in about 15 minutes at the truck, as it wasn't going to take him long to take care of the things that he needed, and there were things that Sherry had expressed that she wanted to get back home to do that morning. Now, I'm going to pause for a moment so I can give you some perspective of just how far Sherry went to go and get this soda. It was just across the street from the bank. Not that far. And within that 15-minute time span, Sherry vanished. Now, Ray makes his way back to his vehicle, and he noticed that Sherry wasn't there. So he spent some time looking around and going over to the gas station to see if she was over there, checking in the general area to see if he could find her, and he couldn't. So he decided that he was going to call his wife, Betty. He wanted to see if perhaps Sherry had wandered down to the Waffle House and was with her. Betty hadn't seen her, and she hadn't come anywhere near the Waffle House. Ray then goes to his second option, which is checking the various farming stores around the area. And about an hour after the last time that she was seen, they finally decide it's time to call in a missing persons report. There are several news articles that would come out in the following days and months following her disappearance, each one with less information than last, most repeating the same information. Now, several people were looked at as suspects, including her biological father and her stepfather. Both were cleared of any involvement regarding Sherry's disappearance. Since then, there have been witnesses who have claimed to have seen Sherry, and each time she's said to be seen with a man around 50 years of age, about 5'8", husky in size, with a weathered complexion and crow's feet around the eyes. One witness claimed to have seen her near a truck stop close to Conley, Georgia. Unfortunately, to this day, nothing has been reported as found by the police or law enforcement. Now, within the first few days and expanding outwards into the weeks that would follow her disappearance, law enforcement would scour the area. They did land searches. They even had airplanes out trying to see if they could find her, find anything that would point into the direction that she could have gone. But like I said, she didn't go very far. So within the 15 minutes that Ray did not have his eyes on Sherry, she vanished. Now, there is a Facebook page, and it is under Sherry Lynn Marler Still Missing. And on this Facebook, there is a post. Now, I want to read through this post because it has a lot of information in it that hasn't been put out by the police. And it appears that the person who posted this was just at the end of their rope. Now, this is a post from a few years ago, and I'm going to read some of this. I am choosing tonight to tell you all everything I know about the 1984 disappearance of Sherry Lynn Marler from Greenville, Alabama. I'm at a boiling point, and so are Becky Cobb and Melissa Conway, my best friends, who have been with me every step of the way. We aren't burnt out. We are just overwhelmed with the stagnancy and blatant disinterest in finding this child. This has been a 10-year journey for us, one that involves thousands of hours of research, documentation, phone calls, years of spending sometimes 4 to 5 days in a row from sunup to sundown, up to our necks in mud, exhausted with our hands bleeding with blisters, digging with shovels through impossible pine tree roots and under piles of concrete slabs, working with cadaver dog teams, spending thousands of dollars on digging equipment and underwater camera systems to search old wells that could have caved in on us at any given time, walking and mapping wooded areas until we thought we'd have to just lay down and sleep there because we were so tired. Our work has paid off, but not well enough to get our hands on what was left of her and give her a proper burial and put an end to this horrible thing that has happened to Sherry in 1984. Now, this post goes on further, and this has not been proven, and no remains have actually been found. This is a post from someone on Facebook, and I'm relaying the information to you as I've seen it, and this is what they believe to have happened to Sherry Lynn Marler, and they appear to have mountains of evidence to prove what they're saying. Now, I'm not trying to discredit anyone. I'm just trying to err on the side of caution when it comes to what I say, as, again, this has not been proven by any law enforcement that this has actually happened. But they believe that Sherry Marler was murdered and dismembered by someone she knew and thrown into a hog pen in Butler County. Now, the person they believe to be the one who committed this crime is deceased. They also believe, or they strongly suspect, that there were 1 or 2 other people there at the time of her death, and that they are also deceased. They go on to say that they also strongly suspect that she was pregnant at the time, and they believe that she was a victim of a multiple family-based incest ring that involved people from both Butler and Crenshaw counties. They also have documented video footage of working with 2 separate cadaver dog teams, one of which is highly and expertly trained in locating old human DNA who gave irrefutable confirmed hits on human remains where they had been looking and digging all over the span of 10 years. Now, I am going to link the full Reddit thread as well as the Facebook page so that you can go and see the posts and also see the images, as I'm not necessarily comfortable with posting what I'm about to talk about. I'm going to continue reading a portion of this because there's evidence that they state that they had found, and we're going to go from there. In the early spring of 2017, we began digging a 10.2 acre parcel in the woods that at the time we strongly suspected was the location of the hog farm where Sherry was murdered. But we had to prove there was ever a hog farm there first because it was completely grown up and showed no signs of the hog farm operation we had received details about from multiple sources. There was a group of us, all female. We worked so damn hard that day, each taking turns digging, moving concrete debris, chopping down sticker bushes, and constantly looking for snakes. By the end of the day, we had nothing. We are all moms, and everyone had to eventually leave to pick up kids from school and get ready to cook dinner, run errands, except for me and Becky Cobb. I'd almost lost faith. Becky broke away from me and took a break to make a phone call on the nearest dirt road, so I prayed. Then my shovel hit concrete. I yelled at her, she came running, and almost 2 hours later, we had uncovered the entire perimeter of a concrete feeding pen, an old corrugated metal doorway, and after digging almost my entire arm's length down, we unearthed a pair of child's pants that had large, dark, splotchy stains. We spent the next hour digging up the entire area around it to make sure it wasn't a trash run off or part of a trash dump of old clothes. There was nothing else. We followed protocol and immediately froze them, placed them in a cooler, collected all of our info, notes, documentation, and turned over all of it to the Butler County Sheriff Department, who assured us would be sent immediately to the DNA lab in Montgomery. Months later, I found out that the pants were sitting in a corner in a storage room somewhere in the courthouse, completely rotting and disintegrating. I contacted the Greenville Police Department, who later assured me they confiscated them, sent them into the DNA lab, but nothing could be found. I've provided a photo of the pants and the stains on them below. This would be the photo that I would encourage you to go and look on this Facebook page. Now, another thing that they found was a photo that belonged to the spouse of the person they believe murdered Sherry. They had found multiple pictures stamp dated on the back of the hog farm in 1984. It was in a state of demolition at the time, but it still had hogs in it. It was still functional. At the bottom of the pile, they say they found a photo that was folded and creased several times at the bottom left-hand corner, and where the date would have been on the back of the photo, it was either removed or damaged in some way, so you couldn't tell what the date was of this particular photo. Now, where the photo had been creased over, they believe, and it's a picture of a hog, of a young hog, and in the bottom corner there is what they believe to be, and what they think appears to be, a severed head. Now, this isn't confirmed, and the photo itself, the physical copy of the photo, was taken away, and they have not heard anything regarding this photo since. And the only reason that we have this photo is because they took a picture of it on their cell phone, and this is what they used to send out to some people that they knew, not giving any context to why they had the photo, what they were doing with the photo, or anything like that. Just a simple, what do you think this is? Like, what does this look like to you? And everybody said the same thing. Now, you are free to look at this photo on your own. Like I said, I do not want to show anything, confirmed or unconfirmed, that could possibly show human remains or anything like that. Even still, this is a case that I'm sure resonates with a lot of people who are parents, who have young children, and who hear stories like this and in their minds think, how could someone let this happen? How could this happen? How could you just not see her? How could she vanish without a trace? But this is unfortunately something that happens a lot more often than I think people want to believe. Now, I'm going to leave several links in the description so that you can see these posts and go over everything with your own eyes and come to your own conclusions. And feel free to drop anything in the comments, your thoughts or opinions regarding this case. I would really like to know what you all think, and I'm going to remind you one last time to go ahead and subscribe, because we will be continuing this journey across the United States, covering one famous cold case from each state. Thanks for watching, and remember, the line between the virtual and the real is thinner than you might think.